Hello traders, today is a special day because we are gonna look at FTMO accounts. Today we are not gonna look at FTMO challenge or the verifications, but we are gonna look at 5 traders that have passed the whole evaluation process. So of course these traders are eligible for their profit split and commissions, so let's look into them. This first account started in May and it's for $100,000. Now the balance curve doesn't look anything special here. There are no huge dips or no huge spikes, and with an exception of the first trade, it's a nice upward trend overall, so there is no issue here. Now you might know that during the evaluation process there are some additional trading objectives. This is not the case on FTMO account, so there is more freedom for you traders, and all there is max daily loss, max loss, and of course profit, but that's not really a trading objective. Either way, max daily loss is not an issue here, max loss is also not an issue here, so that's just great, and the profit is nice, $10,000. Other than that, when we look at the statistics, so far there have been just 18 trades using actually quite high volume of 113 lots. The average risk reward ratio is super high, it's actually 4.8, so that's up there, and the win rate is 55%, so that's very good. Now, as I already said, from the balance curve there are no huge spikes, no huge dips, and you can see this in the daily summary as well. So the profits and the losses are quite nicely split across all days, and so is the volume, so that's just perfect and consistent. The volume is split very nicely across the positions as well, so you can see that mostly there are either 5 lots or 10 lots, and that's it. And all of these positions are 4x, and this is a day trader. What makes me quite happy is that stop losses and take profits are used almost always, except for this position, for example, but other than that, it's always. Going short is definitely more profitable than going long, but both of these are profitable, so no issue here, of course. And the single most profitable instrument here is British pound and New Zealand dollar, but most forex pairs are profitable, so that's good. There is just one exception, and that is euro and New Zealand dollar, but other than that it's just fine. So maybe if this trader wants to improve, chances are if he or she avoided euro and New Zealand dollar, it could be even better. But of course that's up to him or her. So this is very good result for first month of trading, $10,000, that's just very nice. So let's look at another account. Now this account is for 160,000 euros. The balance curve isn't as nice as was the case with the previous account, but it still works because there is very nice profit. There is one thing that I dislike about this account, and that is this dip at the beginning of the trading period. Of course, this trader didn't come close to breaching max loss or max daily loss, so that's fine, and the trader got out of that without an issue, so that's good. But still, it's not really good for the psychology of the trader. Either way, after these 15 trades, this trader made like 10% of the entire account, so that's good. Of course, if you want to calculate the profit split, that's as always this profit, and you multiply it by 0.7, and that's the commission. As I already said, that's 15 trades using 314 lots. The average risk reward ratio is still quite high, it's 2.5, so not as good as previous trader, but still very good. And the win rate is 46%. When you look at the daily summary, the volume is split somewhat nicely across all days, maybe with an exception of this particular day right here. But other than that, it's quite consistent, I guess. It's not like this trader made his entire profit of just one trade or something like that. In the trading journal, we can see that there is just one page, so that's the entirety of the trading history. Still, mostly forex, mostly day trader, and at all times using stop losses and take profits, so that's very good. The volume per position is also very similar, so at least that's very good. Now clearly we can see that buying is profitable and selling is definitely not. And the single, actually there are 2 most profitable instruments, and that's US dollar and Japanese yen, and euro and Australian dollar. Now if this trader didn't trade British pound and US dollar, he would be better off. But of course that's up to him as always. So yeah, so this account is quite interesting, perhaps not as good as the previous one in terms of consistency, but still this is still very nice profit of more than 10% of the entire account, so that's great. Now, in regards to the balance curve, this account is way more interesting than the previous two because there are quite huge spikes and huge dips all the time. So that's quite interesting. And at the same time, there are 146 trades executed. So that's a reasonable sample. Interestingly enough, max daily loss was quite close to being breached, just $93 left. The max loss is not an issue here, and the profit is staggering 31% of the entire account. So that's fantastic. Once again, if you want to know the commission that this trader is eligible to get, you just take this number and multiply it by 0.7, and that's what this trader is gonna get. In the statistics, we can see 146 trades, actually huge volume of almost 2,000 lots. So that's quite insane. I'm not sure that I have seen this high volume traded ever in a single month. Either way, average risk reward ratio is 0.81, so that's not all that great, though the win rate is 61%, so that makes up for this not so good average risk reward ratio. In the daily summary, unfortunately, we can see mostly losses at the end of the trading period, but there are profits as well. So we can see actually that this is consistent in terms of volume, profits, and losses, but the volume is just really crazy. Something else that is quite interesting here is that this trader is specialized on trading gold. There is one forex pair as well, and that is British pound and Japanese yen. Other than that, this is a day trader, clearly. And well, stop losses are not used all the time, but take profits are. The most used lot size is 10 lots, and that's for gold. But for British pound and Japanese yen, he or she goes a little bit higher. That's either 30 lots, 25 lots, 25 lots. So yeah, certainly this trader is making all the money on selling and not so much on buying. And yeah, single most profitable instrument here is definitely gold. So there you go. And the most profitable volume is definitely 10 lots. So this is very interesting. This is a specialist on trading gold, which is very nice. When you are specialized on just one instrument, you can really see the patterns and you can really see how the market behaves. So perhaps it's better to specialize on just a few instruments rather than trade like 20 or 30 different instruments. This account is quite interesting as well because there is nice sample size as well. Though not as many trades as was the case with the specialist. And it's also not as wild because there are no huge spikes and dips. So that's certainly good because this is more stable growth. In this case, max daily loss is not an issue. Max loss is not an issue as well. And the profit target is very nice, 20% of the entire account. In the statistics, we can see 135 trades executed using volume of 322 lots. So that's not as high and crazy. And the average risk reward ratio is 2.13. Number of trades here is 135. The volume here is 322, which is not as high as was the case with the specialist. And the average risk reward ratio is 2.14. The win rate here is 54%, and of course together this is quite nice result, and if this trader keeps it up, that's just gonna be very good. In the daily summary, I can basically see just profits, so that's very nice, very pleasant to see. We always like to see more green, and basically there is just one negative day and that's it. So this is perhaps the most stable and the most consistent account, and this is just really pleasant to see. Maybe the profit is not as high as was the case with the previous account, but still this is very safe and stable growth that we love. But of course there is gold traded as well. There are some forex pairs as well on top of that. Stop losses are used all the time, take profits are used very often, not all the time though, and this is still a day trader. So I assume at this point that gold is gonna be the main instrument here and that most profits are made on that. So let's see. So far, selling is more profitable than buying, but both are still profitable, and the single most profitable instrument is actually forex pair. So first is British pound and US dollar, and then is gold. After that is euro, Japanese yen, and some other stuff. But clearly you can see that this trader specializes on just 5 instruments, so that's quite good. This is not as specialized as was the case with the previous account, but still it works. So this was very nice, very consistent. We really like to see this. So let's now look at the last account. Whenever I see balance curve like this, I always think to myself that this must be an EA, because otherwise it's not really possible to execute 462 trades in just 1 month and just watch the charts all the time. But there is no way for me to know, so we don't know if this guy uses EA or not. Anyway, the max daily loss is not an issue here, neither is max loss, and the profit is quite nice, $13,000. Perhaps the profit here is not as great and staggering as was the case with the previous account, but at the same time this growth is just great. And well, perhaps with an exception of this spike. Other than that, as I said, this is 462 trades executed on almost 200 lots. The average risk reward ratio is 2. The win rate is 58%. So of course, together this is quite nice. It's quite interesting that the volume is quite low for this amount of trades. So that's under 0.5 lots per one position. In the daily summary, we can see basically just profits all the time, with an exception of this day right here. But well, this is very consistent. Together, of course, this is very nice and consistent result. In this daily summary, I can see pretty much just profits. Well, let's see. Oh, there we go. There is one losing day, but other than that, just wins. So perhaps this is even more consistent than the previous account, and this is just lovely. Truly, I think that this is an EA, but there is no way for me to know that. And this is the third time that we see someone being specialized at trading gold. Now stop losses are set all the time, take profits are set all the time. So this is really like robotic behavior, I guess. And with an exception of this trade right here, all of these are executed on intraday basis. So this is a day trader for sure. There is quite nice split between buying and selling, and certainly the single most profitable instrument here is gold. There is one index being traded, but not as much. So yeah, basically most profits are certainly made on gold. So this is very interesting and very consistent again. I truly think that this is an EA, but you know, if it works, why not? And with that, this is the end of the video. So as always, traders, if you have any feedback for us, leave it down in the comment section, subscribe to our FTMO YouTube channel, and follow FTMO on all social media. And as always, trade safe.